When we first saw the crossovers in Sonic Racing CrossWorlds through the Summer Games Fest trailer, I thought that these crossovers will be treated in the same way that Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed handled them, and seeing crossovers come back for this game got me really excited. We saw some press footage right after that trailer, and I was thinking, maybe they'll add voice clips in the final game. And more news released, and it was confirmed that every character will be silent in the game, besides Hatsune Miku. This was because the rival system would need a big approval process for licensed characters, and SEGA wanted to make the process easy for external companies. In this video, I'll explain why this isn't a simple problem to fix, but offer a solution that will end up being beneficial to the game's overall quality. In an interview with Destructoid, Takashi Iizuka explains how making rival interactions for DLC characters will require a large review process for the external companies if they were to be included. The problem with this response is that we can see that Sonic Team decided to make one-sided interactions for DLC characters, which is a good compromise to make. And another problem is that this response doesn't hold up at all for the DLC characters that are owned by SEGA. But with the way the rival system is structured, I think using one-sided interactions is fine because writing the dialogue, recording the voice clips, and animating the characters is a lot of work, not to mention how expensive it will get. So half of the problem has already been solved. Now let's get to my solution. But first, we gotta list off some exceptions. Those exceptions being the Minecraft characters, Pac-Man characters, and the Megman characters, as they have a well-known history of being silent. So any DLC character that has a history of being silent should stay silent in this game. Now this leaves us with DLC characters that are known for talking, and here are some things that can be done to fix the immersion problem this game currently has. Number 1. Add voice clips for the DLC characters that are known for talking. Reusing old voice clips is fine. This needs to be added during a race, choosing them on the character select screen, and selecting an emote. Number 2. Get rid of the announcer override for these DLC characters because they should provide their own player feedback like the base game characters, as this gives them way more personality and feel more rewarding to the player compared to the announcer interrupting them. This occurs when the character finishes a race, wins a Grand Prix, the rank system and world match, and finishing a time trial. I want to briefly mention Hatsune Miku because she also has this problem despite her being voiced in this game.
Congratulations! Excellent!
I will play some footage as an example to how I would like this change to be implemented into the game.
Play with you some other time. Woo, number 1!
I also want to have the character's personality incorporated into their voice clips, just like how Hatsune Miku's personality is incorporated into her voice clips. Since the Werehog hasn't been voiced in nearly 17 years, who do I think should voice him? I think that SEGA should get Ray Chase to be the new voice actor for the Werehog, as his performance for Metal Overlord and Shadow Generations proves that his voice can work extremely well for a character like the Werehog. Just remove the robotic filter, the voice can be slightly higher pitched, and make the voice sound more gritty. I'll explain later in the video as to why Roger Craig Smith couldn't voice the Werehog in this game. I also wish that Jason Griffith could return, but SEGA getting a new voice cast back in 2010 makes this very unlikely. For the Sonic Prime and Nickelodeon characters, I think getting sound-alike voice actors should only be used as a last-ditch effort to get voices for them, if SEGA couldn't get a hold of the original voice actors. For the Sonic Prime characters, they could get Cindy Robinson to voice Rusty Rose, Dave B. Mitchell can voice Knuckles the Dread, and Kate Higgins can voice Nine. SEGA has used sound-alike voice actors in the previous Sonic Racing game, that being Transformed, where Brian T. Delaney voiced Wreck-It Ralph instead of John C. Reilly. At GalaxyCon, Roger Craig Smith explains why he wasn't allowed to voice the Werehog, and how he would have loved to voice another character in this game.
Are you playing Werehog?
No, I'm not. No, I know. No, and I would love to. I think the way that it works is contractually, if you're doing a certain number of voices within a given project at a given moment, if they add another voice for you to do, they got to pay more and do different things. So usually the way they do production is they disperse certain characters throughout the cast.
Devin Mack, who voiced Sonic in Sonic Prime, commented on a video about a Joker voice mod by Def Chaos, saying, "This is absolutely based. This is what we and Xander deserve." The easiest characters to implement voices for are the Sonic and SEGA characters, as they're already owned by SEGA, meaning there is no external approval process that would make this complex, and internal studios like Werehog and Atlas would have to oversee the process, so it is nearly the same as getting the voice actors for the base game. Next up is the Sonic Prime characters, and for these characters, SEGA has to get approval from Netflix and WildBrain, as all three of these companies co-own Sonic Prime. Separate talent contracts would be made for the voice actors, which are different to the ones for the TV show. Then we have third-party characters, which now involve licensing, negotiating with the external companies to get approval, buying the voice rights, and getting the voice actors onto the project. Nickelodeon characters have pretty much the same steps as third-party characters, except that Nickelodeon is very strict on how their characters should be portrayed. A mod that adds voice clips for 9 titled 9 Unmuted by Shiloh Vibing. Sorry if I didn't say your username correctly. Has a thread that talks about the corners that SEGA cut when adding DLC characters. Xeno or something mentions how Rusty Rose and Knuckles the Dread also have 9's voice clips, and Dan the Dyslexic says it is because they share the same voice bank. Most console players don't have the option to mod the game like how PC players do, and even with mods, you can't fix this unless you reverse engineer the game, which could lead to players getting banned when they play online. For example, the Sonic Prime characters share their Sonic Prime voice bank, and the SpongeBob characters share their SpongeBob voice bank, and modders would have to do all of this just to get each character their own voice bank. Leaving all the DLC characters silent only hurts the game, as one of the most important aspects about a lot of these characters is their voices. Everything else about these characters is great, but keeping them silent ruins what makes playing as them so special. This game is a AAA game and is being charged for $70, and to get the rest of the DLC characters, it is an extra $20. II and Knights are returning for this game, and in Transform, they receive voice clips which made their inclusions feel complete. Hearing the same 1 or 2 sound effects for the characters that should talk gets annoying real fast and makes me want to avoid them. It becomes so bad to the point where those sound effects just blend in with other sound effects within the game, such as the air trick and boosting sound effects. If these characters were actually voiced, I would enjoy playing as them. Most of the DLC characters in CrossWorlds just feel like playing as a costume, rather than playing as the actual character. When making this video, I learned quite a lot from researching about this topic, and writing the script after the game release gave me a really good grasp as to how I wanted to talk about this again, along with having more knowledge about the game and the basics of licensing. I know that the game and voice acting industry has gotten more complex ever since Transformed released back in 2012, but that doesn't excuse the fact that SEGA could have added voice clips to these characters, and Sonic Team already found a workaround for the rival system, which meant that the approval process wouldn't be that big if SEGA got the voice actors for characters that are owned by other companies. And they also own half the DLC characters, meaning that getting the voice actors for most of them would be nearly the same process as getting the voice actors to voice the base game characters. And I would like to shout out Externity for telling me that Mega Man characters, and by extension, Pac-Man characters, are usually silent. Let me know what you guys think of this video, and how you feel about SEGA choosing to keep every DLC character silent. With that being said, thanks for watching.